a man that I've known a long time. Even when he was playing at the University of Alabama, had to be the slowest defensive back ever recruited. No, I shouldn't have said that.
I could have gone all day without hearing that.
Known Coach Lee Ozmint a long time, beginning his second year as the head coach of the Arab Knights. Coach, would you introduce the two young men you brought along with you today and make some comments about the 2020 Knights?
I'm Lee Ozmint. I'm the head coach. This is Matthew Turnage. Sitting to my right, he is our starting tailback, leading rusher from last year, over 1,300 yards, over 20 touchdowns. Looking for him to have a great year. Not a good one, a great one. I'm looking to my left here is Jesse McCombs. He's one of our offensive linemen, and not a little bit outside the ordinary for an offensive lineman to get to do this, but I think the world of Jesse. He works hard. I'm glad to have Jesse up here to share with you a little bit about himself. But we're excited. We're excited. We're going to get a chance. We're going to get a chance.
Questions, guys? Coach had a big senior class last year. 18 seniors. Had a great season. Won 6 games last year, first year. You got to replace a lot of really good players this year. Talk about that.
We do. Offensively, most of those 18 seniors played offense, and it showed. We scored a lot of points, averaged over 40 points a game, and probably 400 yards total offense each game. But a large part of that is because these two gentlemen sitting with us here today. Matthew Turnage played hurt a little bit last year, and I'm looking forward to him having a healthy season, finishing the season out. And Jesse has really gotten strong in the offseason. He's not real big, but he's strong. Used to not be, but he's really worked hard in the offseason and gotten stronger in key lifts. I think up front, offensively we lost 4 starters out of 5, and we're having to rebuild there. And at this point, in shorts and helmets, we're starting to get, starting to pick up the schemes a little bit better. But as well as I do, a lot of those questions are going to be answered, and a lot of those questions will arise when we put on pads next week. At wide receiver, I know, Kobe King and Will Hudson, those two were prolific. They were great. They were wonderful. But we've got a stable of wide receivers, I think, that can compete at the 6A level. And then at quarterback, Ross Reynolds graduated. He was probably the most improved player in North Alabama, I would say. But Ed Johnson will take the reins this fall, and I'm excited to see him run that offense. He's really taken ownership of some of the things that we're doing, some of the schemes that we're doing, run schemes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the game slow down for Ed. And he's smart, very cerebral kid. He's really smart, and he's picking up on things that he shouldn't be picking up on so early. Defensively, we got, as a head coach, you think, well, you got all the returning starters back from last year, and sometimes that's not such a good thing. Because we gave up some points last year, but this year it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing. We've got a lot of returning starters. Probably 9 out of 11 have started in at least one football game. Most of them 5 or 6. Some of them the whole season. But I'm excited. They're starting to play, carry themselves in practice like a veteran football team, and we're getting some leadership out of some of those defensive players. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about both sides of the football. Our kicker's back. I think our kicking game will be solid again. Last year it was solid, and then we had a few meltdowns during the season, but I think we're a year older and wiser and smarter and more calm. And I think we're gonna, I just look for us to be competitive. And I tell them, I'm excited that we're going to get a chance to play. And, I look over at South Carolina, and they still don't know. I talk to some of my buddies that coach over there, they don't know, and I'm just excited that we've got a light at the end of the tunnel. And whether we play 1 game or 10 games or anywhere in between or 15, I hope. But I'm just excited we're going to get to take the field with this bunch, because they have, in spite of the coronavirus, in spite of all the controversy and the moving targets that we've had all summer long, they have come in and they have worked hard, and I'm very pleased about that.
Kind of going off that, Coach, we've talked a couple of times throughout all the summer workouts and everything. How have you seen this team develop in the short period of time that you've had this offseason?
Well, I saw it during the Zoom meetings, which I'm so over Zoom. I'm over Zoom. But I saw it during the Zoom meetings, and I saw it, when I would see them in person, and I've seen it since when they came back. It seems like they've got a sense of urgency about, doing things the right way. And in seeing that, I've seen guys stepping outside their comfort zone to lead. It's never comfortable to lead, because you're always sticking your neck out there and risking rejection. But, this year is the first year since I've been here that I've had guys that have actually stepped into that leadership role and taken that risk. Does that make sense? And that, as a head coach, does two things. It makes you feel better about what you're doing, but it also makes you feel better about what they're doing and about how they're going to play, and the consistency that we're going to need. If that leadership comes from me, it's one thing. We're going to play up, we're going to play down, however they feel. But if the leadership comes from within the team, then we're going to play steady. And that's what we're trying to develop. And I've seen it develop.
Question for Matthew. I know last year, Coach mentioned you went through some injuries there, and I know that kind of probably made you hang your head a little bit. I know no athlete wants to get injured in the season. With the coronavirus on top of all that, and the uncertainty of things up until the last few weeks, how have you let that kind of fuel you and kind of bring you into this 2020 season?
I tried to picture it as I'm trying to get better for my teammates and help push them harder, which will make me push harder and make the team do better, and just have fun and play the game.
He's one of those that has stepped up, and the only way you can demand more of those around you is to expect more of yourself. And I placed some guys in his workout group that were talented kids that worked hard when they felt like it, but he comes in with such a method, approach. You don't have to tell him what to do. You don't have to tell him to work hard, because he's going to show up and he's going to do it every day. And he just silently goes in there and works, and those guys just have fallen in line behind him. It's been fun to watch.
Coach, you mentioned earlier about moving up to 6A, and it may be one of the toughest 6A regions in the state. You've got the defending state champion in there. Talk about the competition level from moving from 5A to the 6A region that you moved into.
Well, look, my goal is this, and I don't mean, I'm not going to skirt the question. It's tough. 6A is obviously bigger schools. It's going to be tough for us to make that move. But I'm not looking at that as any potential excuse, because I think we can be competitive. We can be competitive at 5A or 6A. Okay. So I'm not, and I'm not one of those that says, "Dadgummit, we went 6A." I'm one of those that says, "All right, we went 6A, so let's play like 6A." And I don't think any of these kids were disappointed that we went 6A. I know there's people on the outside, outliers, that will look in and say, "Man, they're going 6A. They're going into they're going into a meat cleaver." It's not that way. We're not preparing to go in there and get our tails kicked every week. We're going in there to compete. And my measurement of a football team is on Thursday. Can I look at them squarely in the eye and tell them, do they deserve to win? And if I can tell them that they deserve to win by how they worked up until that point, if I tell them that they deserve to win, I can tell you right then we're going to be competitive. So, have we won every game this summer, every workout? No, we haven't. One day in particular, I felt like we lost. Okay, but we're going to bounce back. We're going to bounce back. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. We're going to push each other. And if those things happen, you're going to be competitive, period. You're going to be competitive, because nobody on that football field is going to quit. Nobody on that football field is going to, roll over. Nobody on that football field is going to point a finger at anybody else. You're going to be competitive, and they bought in.
Kind of going off Coach's comments for the two players, I mean, what are your thoughts on 6A? What's the outlook for the season looking like?
We're going to give it our best shot and play to our heart's content. And we're just going to rise to the challenge and do our best.
Basically what Matthew said, we're just gonna strap up and do our jobs.
Coach, a question. I know last year you told me when I visited with you that each year you take the group of seniors on a senior retreat to kind of pull them together. And you talked about how that group of seniors came together. I don't know if you've done that yet this year with this group of seniors, and that may be coming up, but I thought that was unique in what you do to go off, because those are the leaders of your football team.
Right, and we had to cancel that this year, and it broke my heart. But we've still been meeting together and going through the principles that we go through on that trip. And we're going to keep doing that, and we've just got to think outside the box. That's what this thing has done. It's made everybody think outside the box, and it's pushed everybody beyond their comfort levels. And and who knows? I can't plan for tomorrow. I can't look ahead to tomorrow, the next day, or even the next. But what I can do is look at the now and prepare us for the now. And we're going to prepare like we're playing August the 20th. And I think we're going to play August the 20th. I'm almost positive we're going to play August the 20th. So we're getting ready for them. And I know y'all saw some big boys come in here, and I got two little midgets in here, but we're going to run at them. We're not going to run around them. We're going to run through them. And I love those guys, and they're great people. But these, we're not going out there to dance. But I'll tell you, just to build on what these guys said, I'm so proud of. 5A, 6A, that's a big deal to some people. But I played 3A, I played 4A, we were 5A, and now we're 6A. And at Oxford, I've coached some teams. I've coached a lot of different places, not too many, but a lot. But I can tell you this, I'm proud of where this team is. I'm proud of where this team is going. I think this team has good, steady leadership, and those measurables. We're gonna look, guys. If y'all come and leave before the kickoff, we're probably gonna lose every game. Okay, we're probably gonna lose every game, but these guys feed off of that. We know we're gonna lose the warm-ups. But there's a football game to be played at some point. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do those ordinary things, hopefully as well or better than people that we play. And that's the goal. That's the goal.
Jesse, you saw last year's team go from being not sure of themselves when he took over, and you saw what happened. You were a part of it. He was too. But does that give you more confidence this year to tell your teammates, your younger guys, that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing, follow his lead, and we're going to get there? Does that give you more confidence as a group, even though you are stepping up in the division? But that didn't seem to matter last year. It's not. Perhaps it won't matter this year.
It has. It's good having a head coach that I've gone through 2 different head coaches. I went through, I went through 2 different coaches, and Coach Ozmint has been the best coach out of all of them. And having a coach that you can unify behind and see where they're coming from and being able to have a point of view and work towards it, it's very good to have that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if these kids show the leadership that they have shown that's grown over the last 18 months, a dang chimpanzee could come up and coach these guys. So don't flatter me. I mean, look, it is what it is. Whatever success we have, it's going to be because you guys have bought in, and you guys are doing what you're supposed to do. I love what I do, but the thing that I love most about what I do is seeing these guys buy in and do their job.
Question to the guys. We went throughout the summer, and I know you guys were working out. Coaches talked about that. but it was last Wednesday or Thursday, the Alabama High School Athletic Association said, you're gonna have your senior season. I'd like for both of you to comment on that, what that meant to be able to, as Coach said, go out on the field August 20th against Albertville.
It meant a lot to me because I was able to play my senior season and able to show what I can do to colleges and everybody, show what I'm made of and prove that we've been working and we deserve to win.
I never really gave it much thought about if, like, I never felt that the season would be fully canceled. So whenever it just got reconfirmed, I was like, okay, cool, let's just keep working. But that's kind of my perspective on it. But
Coach, you may have mentioned this earlier, and I didn't catch it, but last year had 18 seniors. How many seniors, we talked about this group, how many seniors on this year's team?
We got 17.
17.
This year.
Coach, it's important for these kids to get to play football, no doubt about it. The focus is on that. They need it because, everybody's been shutting. And you've talked about the community in Arab. They need this too.
Absolutely.
Because, we don't know if school's going to start back. We don't know any of that stuff, but all these communities, the state of Alabama, a lot is built around football. And so, I think every community in our area needs football.
I totally agree with you. Look, you've had, I don't know how many teams up here, but every team that comes up here and sits here represents a small slice of this overall area. And they have their own communities that they represent. And I'm telling you, when you don't know what you got until it's gone. And I think we look at it and we say, we almost lost football. And I don't think anything's going to stand in the way of us playing football in Alabama. I'm sorry, it's important to us. People in other states can laugh. That's great. That's fine. But, I'm not going to get political. But I can tell you this. I'm excited not just for these guys. I'm excited for their parents. I'm excited for the community. I'm excited for the city. I'm excited for the school. And it is what it is. Football is football, and I understand that. There's way more important things than football, but not on Friday night, there's not. Not on Friday night, there's not. You can patch 1,000 potholes, but it's not going to draw a crowd to get there to watch somebody ride over a pothole. I tell you what they're going to do. They're going to close down everything in Arab, and they're going to show up on Friday night, and they're going to be there in as many people as can fit inside that little stadium. And that's going to make my heart sing, not just for us, but for everybody, because I think that's what we need. We need to get back in the saddle. Everybody needs to get back in the saddle and let's ride. And I think this is kind of what Alabama's doing. Everybody else is canceling games and going to 7 games or 5 games or 4 games. Alabama's, hey, we might add a game. And I love that. I love that. Let's go. Let's do it.
Coach, I know that it's not a popular subject to talk about, but the first time you and I ever met, I remember it was very evident where your faith lies in Jesus Christ and the impact, you talked about the impact you wanted to have on these young men beyond being a football coach or football players. Would you talk about the impact you feel like you've had thus far? I know you don't like to talk and brag about yourself, but talk about the impact that you've seen thus far going into your second year.
I had a conversation with a kid just this week, and look, as a coach, I was impacted by a lot of coaches during my life. I think of Jim Frazier at Hannah High School. I think of John Thompson at Alabama. I think of Bill Curry at Alabama. I've been impacted by a lot of coaches, and some for the good, some for the bad, all those for the good, okay? And then there were some that came along that I wouldn't cross the road to shake their hands. But I was impacted by them, but not for the positive. I can impact a kid's life, and I would like to go to bed tonight thinking that I've impacted a lot of lives of kids, but I can't change lives. And Christ can change lives. And it's my job as their coach, not just to teach them how to play football, and it's not just my job to teach them how to be a man. It's my job to get the love of Jesus Christ in front of them. Now, what they do with it is up to them. If they reject him, that's their business. That's on them. But I'm going to get the love of Christ in front of them somehow, some way. And I could get fired for that, I know, but fire me for the right reasons. But that's my job. That's my job. That's my calling. And it's up to them to either accept it or deny it. But that's my job. And I don't know what parent in their right mind would not want their coach to love their kid with the love of Christ. I don't know. Maybe things have changed that much. But that's where I'm coming from.
Coach, thanks a lot. We appreciate you and the guys being here. Good luck to the Knights this year. Thank you.